we don't want to give up certain things we have. Many excuses, but this is your powerful text. They left everything to follow him. And I will teach you how to catch people. The first thing that happens when we respond to his call is that God gives us a new identity. Here is a great promise from Jesus, and I will teach you how to fish for people, which is what he is saying here. I have a purpose for your lives. I will transform you into something new. I will give you a new identity, and that is the first thing what Jesus does. When we decide to follow him, changes our identity from what we were to something new with a purpose. The two most important days in your life will be the day you were born and the day you know why you were born. Purpose, in other words, he is saying you who were an alcoholic will no longer be one. I will clean up your life. You who live depressed will no longer live like this. I will give purpose to your life. You who feel alone will no longer feel that way. I will accompany you. You who have been abused, I will restore you. You who feel defeated, I will give you victory. You who have lost hope, I will do it for you. He is telling these men, you will help me bring a message to the whole world. He was giving them world leadership. We can also understand here some principles about fishing, such as being able to use the perfect hook and what to do immediately afterwards. To catch a fish is to clean it. For some it is cleaned with your hands. He is saying in some way, accompany me in my dream. Let's retain people and clean them. Let's be willing to put our hands in. Remember that God is in the business of transforming lives. You will remember that later Jesus changes the name of Simon into the name of Peter. This means a change of identity. When you decide to follow Jesus, he will change your identity. 19. A little further along the shore, Jesus saw James and John, sons of Zebedee, in a boat, mending the nets. 20. He called them immediately, and they also followed him, leaving his father Zebedee in the boat with the hired men. Zebedee is a rich man. He is a prosperous man. James and John led a life doing things in the same way or form, an entire life with the same routine, leaving the family business and what will have happened in the life of the Pope that will happen to them. Jesus said so that Zebedee would sit there and allow his children to go, which is what they saw in Jesus. He had the great fortune to recognize who he was, the Son of God. The invitation is not to follow a prophet or a religion, it is to follow God himself. 21. Jesus and his companions went to the town of Capernaum. When the Sabbath arrived, Jesus entered the synagogue and began to teach. 22. The people were amazed at his teaching, because he did it with true authority. Something completely different from what the teachers of religious law did. Yesterday I was walking with my daughters. Later in the night we arrived at some tacos that are in Tepeyac. It is a relatively small stand. It was very full. Sharon's words when we arrived were wow, and I told Sharon, this must be the gospel that is so good that it is full, that everyone wants to be there. Jesus' words were different from the Pharisees because they did not point to the people. They pointed to the Father. He did not talk to them about the things they had to do, but about the things that the Father had done. Not he spoke to them about the rituals that you should keep, but about the love of an unconditional Father. He had authority. The words of God should be our authority for our life. There we found the wisdom we need for life. 23. Suddenly, a man in the synagogue, who was possessed by an evil spirit, began to shout. 24. Why do you interfere with us, Jesus of Nazareth? Have you come to destroy us? I know who you are, the Holy One of God. 25. Shut up. Jesus interrupted him and ordered him, get out of this man. 26. At that very moment, the spirit screamed, convulsed the man, and then left him. 27. Astonishment gripped the people, and everyone began to talk about what had happened. What kind of new teaching is this? They asked themselves with emotion. He has so much authority. Even evil spirits obey his orders. 28. News about Jesus spread quickly throughout the region of Galilee. There will always be a spiritual battle, the kingdom of darkness and Satan against the kingdom of light and Jesus, but it is very interesting how the presence of God pushes back the evil in our lives. The authority of Jesus is what we need to remove from our lives and our families. Anything that opposes Jesus, there is no need to shout. It is not a matter of effort, it is a matter of knowing who has the authority. That is why the goal of the church should be to follow him after people, to know him more and more every day. The best thing you can do as a father, mother, son, leader or pastor is to spend time with him. Actions to take. 1. Decide to follow Jesus. 2. Leave what prevents me from following him. 3. Spend time with him devotional. 4. Attend the Following Jesus seminar. Become a member of the channel and be an instrument of the Word of God. Don't miss this opportunity to impact lives. Click the link in the description now and help us spread the Word of God. Following Jesus, by Armando Anguiano. Summary: The Great Commission. Illustration: the Chile mine. The collapse of the San Jose mine occurred on Thursday, August 5, 2010. Around 2:30 p.m., leaving 33 miners trapped at about 720 meters depth for 69 days. 1. The deposit, located in the Chilean commune of Caldera, 30 kilometers northwest of the city of Copiapó, was exploited by the company San Esteban Primera S.A. The rescue work began the same day at night in charge of mining engineer Miguel Fort Zanoni, planning, securing the area, carrying out reconnaissance of the mine and entering in search of access places and accumulating human and logistical resources. In the early hours of Friday, groups of rescuers began working to gain access through a ventilation chimney. A new collapse occurred on the afternoon of Saturday, August 7, requiring heavy machinery to continue the work. On Sunday, August 22, 17 days later, the miners were found alive, and after 33 days of drilling interrupted only by machinery problems. One of the three plans, Plan B, with the Shram T130 machine managed to break bottom, 623 meters deep. A casing plan duct casing was immediately devised and it was decided to partially casing the drilling. At 3:00 on October 11, 2010, it was announced that the casing work had reached 56 meters and it was decided to finish the work at that depth. At 12:00 on the same day, the Minister of Mining, Lawrence Goulbourne, announced that the rescue would begin at 00:00 on Wednesday the 13th of the same month, lasting approximately 48 hours. Finally, at 00:10, the first miner was brought to the surface, and then the following, at a rate of about 1 per hour. The entire operation had a cost of between 10 to 20 million USD, a third of which was financed by private donations and the rest by the state of Chile. 369. And Codelco. 2. To date it is the largest and most successful rescue of the history